Hi, welcome to my video. I'm Jennifer Roberts. You're catching me on my YouTube channel, Bitchute channel, and my Facebook page, all at True Divine 44. You can get me at The True Divine on Instagram and Twitter. Any likes, shares, subscribes, comments, or tweets are greatly appreciated. Thank you to everybody who does that thus far and all of the time. I appreciate you all. This is the free content that I put out to support, guide, and inspire the collective. As and when you want to be supported, guided, and inspired, take what resonates with you, leave what does not. It will not be taken as a personal offense. These are general. So this is where I combine the energy work that I do and the tarot work that I do to help guide your day, to help you reach the highest potentials of your day, recognizing the energy within yourself, within others, and around you. So for the 30th, we have, I think it's the 30th. I think it is. The 30th of January 2021. Right, okay, let's go. Let's go bottom of the deck first. So we've got the Judgment card. So this keeps coming up. This is the time of the reckoning, and it came to mind yesterday. It's a reckoning with self. It's a reckoning with our own selves, our own souls, our own spirits, what we are, what we've created, what we're going to leave behind. And so this is where we are seeing this transition and movement forward on a path of, it will be what it will be, but it will be what it will be from not only a collective standpoint, but very much an individual standpoint. And this is where we do see all of these different timelines in themselves as energies in themselves, melding and molding and bouncing together more than I've ever experienced in this lifetime. But also individually, where so many different people are living so many different apparent timelines in their life, in that there's this reckoning with self, and it's up to us as individuals as to how well we do within it. Now, with that being said, there are the external forces, and there are there are realities to take into context, in that we are being pushed in certain directions, drawn into certain avenues. Are we being drawn by our own will? Are we being drawn by what we know to resonate with, what we know to leave behind, and what we know to take forward, and what direction we are being pulled from our own selves, into our own selves, to and from? Or are we allowing ourselves to be cattle? Are we allowing ourselves to be manufactured and drawn and put on an assembly line of responses to certain external stimuli going on right now? And this is prevalent. This is huge, in that there are people on all levels wanting to survive, wanting to maintain or gain power. There are people on all levels that are still lusting after the outside savior. There are people in the path that are ready to stand up and be their own person and take their own path. And so for us as each individual to decide which path we are on, and where we want to be, and how we're going to get there. And this is the time when we stop and pause and take heed of our life thus far, what we have attained, what we want to attain, what we take forward, and what we leave in the dirt. And also there's this transfusion of generations past also being part of this reckoning that we're in right now with self. And the mistakes, the complacencies, the triumphs, the tribulations, the bliss, the pain, even those having a factor and or needing to be taken into account. And this is where the blind in spirit are going to struggle with this kind of energy, This is where we see the blind in spirit flounder, because, you know, they aren't discerning enough for their own right in their own life. They're so focused and so driven by and so dependent upon the 3D and the 3D only, what they can see with their two eyes, what they can smell with their one nose, what they can feel with just their fingers physically. This is where these are the people who will not be able to navigate their way through the sea. They won't be able to have their own discernment, have their own divinity and sovereignty in that. And so it's up to each individual to decide where they're at, and quick. There is a quickening to this now. There is a quickening to the time for deciding to take ownership of self, and the things that need to be done, the things that need to be let go of. There's a quickening of, you know, that ability won't be there all of the time. And if it is, it's going to be very difficult for those who don't make that decision soon, very, very soon. The longer it's left, the more difficult. And I'm not being negative, but the reality in me, the realist in me, and the visions that I have, not everybody wants to or is capable of making decisions regarding taking ownership of self. And so this is where we see this real separation continuing, and it's turning into a bit of a cavern, but not for the lost. No, it's not all lost. That's what I'm trying to say, in that there are many more people that have been drawn to self, awakened to self, and this ownership that needs to be taken because of the last few years, because of the lead up to the last few years, and including all of the things that went down in 2020 and continue to do so into 2021. So there's good and bad in everything, and there are plenty more people that are using it for good. So don't be fooled by, you know, the headlines. Don't be fooled by the silencing and censorship. There are many more people that have heard the call, heard the trumpet sound that is the judgment card of their own inner divinities, of their own sovereignty. And so you can connect with this by going within, by doing the meditation. You can connect with brothers and sisters alike that are of the same frequency, of the same mindset, and where you can feel like it's not so it's not such a singular journey. That yes, it's an individual journey, but there is that bliss and that joy of it being also the collective aspect of that, the unity aspect of that. Dualistic in itself, I know. So the world card is on the bottom of the other deck, the clarifying deck. Now this is where it's upside down, it's in reverse. So this is where we needed a bit of a shake up and a bit of a wake up, you know, as to just how to see, just to see that actually there's a lot more right with the world when we're seeing the realities of how things have been being run, and who is running them, and what their capabilities within that sphere is, within a world that they've flipped the script of a long time ago. And so, or they've taken up the mantle of those beings that did flip the script a long time ago, but have pretty much gone with the same narrative, recycling the stories historically. And, you know, it's all biblical. It's always all biblical. And so this is where we see that this shake up and this flip upside down needed to occur, it needed to happen. What other way were we going to realign with self? What other way were we going to see the gifts that life can bring above all of the matrix that has been built up by the controlling oppressive systems that aren't fair, that aren't just. And so this is where we had this opportunity, and we are having this opportunity. And so when we do see more scripts being flipped upside down, and it can be difficult to understand, can be difficult to figure out why. This is why there's this need. We've craved this for those that are ready to see and hear and take the action. We've craved this, we've needed this, we've wanted this. And so this is where we now have the opportunity, as usual, there being an opportunity for growth and expansion, inner standing, knowledge, wisdom in everything. This being a huge opportunity to see just how we have been living for so long under such illusions, and the gift in living in a more realistic, ironically, very much more whimsical, spiritual place within this physical experience. If we can only liberate ourselves from this illusionary matrix that seems also regular and correct and fixed. And so the Queen of Wands comes as the first card of the reading. And so this Queen of Wands is sensual, compassionate. It's a beautiful energy. It's the divine feminine energy. And she carries with her the sunflower, which represents peace. She is a fire. She's the wands. She's passionate and artistic and flowing. She's an attractive energy. She's a magnet, and this is where she sees the beauty in nature. She sees the beauty in the most simple things, and so, but nevertheless, she is a queen. And so this is where we allow our creative juices to flow today. Whether you're male or female, let this divine aspect of the divine feminine within flow. If you have somebody that is creative, embrace them today and allow them to be in flow. Give them a compliment for whatever form of art their creativity takes. If you haven't got something that makes you feel creative, delve into that. So for the women out there, there's much power today in you in particular, taking up the mantle to do whatever it is to align these energies of creativity. Whether you are good at woodwork, cooking, dancing, singing, whatever it is that is uplifting and fruitful in any creative mode, do it, because the power in it today is immense. We have with a intuitive black cat, and this is where, you know, she knows her dark womb on manifest. It sits at her feet at the entrance to her womb, and this is where this queen, this energy, is not afraid of a divine feminine sensual aspect, and being flowing and creative in that also. That the openness to healing wounds of the womb are immense today. If you have anything there that is of past relationships, there is huge availability energetically today for you to be able to go within and truly heal that. And doing that by doing something outwardly creative would really set things in motion for that kind of healing today, that kind of rebalancing today. So where is it the masculine would step into this? Masculine energies, male energies. It is for you to be encouraged and respectfully explorative of this energy. Now, first and foremost, you do this with connecting with your divine feminine within and approaching any female around you in your sphere today that you run into with this will give them that boost, which will in turn have the knock-on effect of really having an impactful energy on the collective. And so we are having this creative, compassionate, peaceful energy drawn out of us today. The queens are often known in the suits for not being as feisty and forward action-packed as the kings. They are able to sit back and have that timing aspect to them of when to put into action the kings. And so if there's something that you feel pressured into taking action on today, if there's pressure to do so, feel comfortable and within your own rights to sit back and give some time to pass and see what else comes out, what other information comes out, particularly on business deals, what other offers might be made maybe tomorrow when some time has passed. To not seem too eager and to not seem too attached to the outcome would be super powerful today, as taking on board this Queen of Wands energy. Letting your interest be known and having that passion, that fire and that drive, but not being so attached and so vulnerable to the outcome that you would come across too eager, particularly in business deals today. To be able to give things time to breathe, for a lot of you, could be very favorable as to what else you might be offered a few hours down the line going into the next day. So the Queen of Wands is clarified by the Sun. Yes, thank goodness. So this is where true enlightenment is felt. And this huge amount of energy to say that so many people around you and out there are connecting and balancing out and getting to know their divinities within. The yin and the yang, the divine feminine, the divine masculine, the positive and negative charge, that fire and flame, and the air that gives that fire the energy. And so these two fire aspects today show true enlightenment, the true embodiment of benevolence, and harmony, peace. And this happens because many people out there are creating this peace within themselves, which is awesome. And so this is where we see it having a big impact on the collective stage. The Leo lion here within the Sun card here, and this Queen of Wands. So it's representative of the divine masculine and a divine feminine energy, both combined in the same element of fire. But this is where this balance here that you see in this yin and yang symbol is really having an impactful embrace on the collective. So look out for some really empowering news today that is coming out of different areas, to be quite frank, around the world, where people are not taking the bait to go to certain things that the system has set up anyway, in order for people to be trapped, in order to fulfill plans even more. But for some people to be really thinking outside of the box. You might not even hear about this unless you're having dialogue with people around the world, which I encourage you to do so outside of the mainstream and outside of even social media statuses, to have one-to-one conversations, because I can pretty much guarantee if you can do that, you'll be finding out some things that certain peoples in certain communities, good people, good stock, are doing to create something that is of real service to the collective. And this is super exciting because this is a real turning of the tide for sure. It's not to say it's the final turn. There's no turn that is final, but it really is a kick in the pants for those that have got this plan set in motion for dominance and power and control. And it makes me smile because you all know I'm all about that kind of action. So yeah, and look out for news on the royal family. That would be very enlightening for sure. Might make the last remainers of support for that royal family diminish just that bit more, which would be good. It'd be good. So I'm just going to bask in that for a minute and move on to the next card. So we have got the Six of Pentacles, as the next card, and this is generosity, reciprocity, and it is a balancing act. Where do we put this generosity and reciprocity? The higher giving to the lower giving gratitude to the higher, and I don't mean better or worse, just the positions that they are in, and predominantly meaning wealth, time, service, because it is pentacles, it's in the physical. But we have the 9 of Wands to clarify this. This is where that song, what's this? The road is long with many a winding turn. Whoever's just heard that before I started reading, it's for you. So this is where actually you see this winding long staircase behind this beautiful dragon. And it is the 9 of Wands. It's fire again. The road is long with many a winding turn that leads us to who know where. And this is where some of you might have been struggling and it's been difficult. And there's some kind of generosity. There's some kind of gratitude for service today that allows some much needed funds, some much needed services, time to be given to you. And so appreciate this with gratitude. You don't owe anybody who gives you anything as a gift like this, anything but gratitude. That is more and all that they need. In fact, to give anything else would not be offensive, but they want you to feel comfortable in receiving this. And that's a beautiful thing. And for those of you that I'm picking up on, your intent and the work that you do anyway already, or the person that you are already, has brought this kind of generosity and this kind of aid to you because you deserve this. You've drawn this in yourself. And so it matters not actually whose hands it is leaving to enter into your hands, just that you have been of service to others, that you are a beautiful person, and that you have had your call answered when you called out to those universal energies. And anybody having the privilege to do this for you and gain in that intent, no doubt, from you of gratitude and of further service of whoever you are or whatever you're doing is more than enough. And so that is, again, awesome. So the next card is whoever's hearing that song. Oh my gosh, you're going to hear that song again today. And it's probably going to make you cry with the relief of whatever this gift is, whatever this time is, whatever this service or generosity financially is. And those tears are fine. They're just relief. They're just, you've had to hold it together for a long time, and you've done really well at doing so. And you don't need to hold it together. So often tears like that are just tears of release, releasing the pressure, because with that 9 of Wands, the pressure is felt. It's a difficult time. It's been a difficult time for a long time. And so it's a release of pressure. So just cry, my friend. Cry yourself a river, and then smile. Those smiles will come swooping in, and your body will feel lighter, and the physical burden will be lighter. So, nice. Whoever else it is that's manifesting some kind of business, entrepreneurship, I'll be putting full intent out there for you to succeed in every single way. I know how difficult it is to get things off the ground, but you know who you are, whoever it is that's listening right now. And I'm telling you, you can do this. You can do this with bells and whistles on. You're going to rock this. Just be brave, be bold, and believe in yourself. Whew. You deserve it. So the Knight of Pentacles comes in with that, which is awesome for what I've just said, in that this Knight of Pentacles comes swooping in for the people I've just mentioned there, just when needed. And sometimes the Knight of Pentacles isn't speedy. It ain't fast. It's strategic, it's paced, it's planned. And so this person might have planned to come swooping into your life all along, but needed certain steps or just needed to be aware of you. And so this is where they're going to place that pentacle. And for the person who is thinking about entrepreneurship and wanting to set up on your own, this is where your strategies and plans really will pay off. It's not a quick fix, but taking even just the first steps, making those lists, is huge intent and huge strategies will really pay off, and it will pay off, even though that road is long. Keep hearing that song so loud. I can't sing, and I'm nearly trying to sing it for you. It's crazy. I promise I won't do that to you, though. I promise you. Promise you. So the Emperor card is in reverse. Number 4, Major Arcana. This is where these oppressive systems, Gates, as far as his land grab, look out for more news very, very soon regarding the fake meat, the impossible type burger meat, protein meat. Do not eat it. Do not eat it. No. There's things in there, no. Don't. And it's very important that we find ways to legal ways of having the treason against humanity being seen by that foundation, so that land can be given back to the peoples, to the true farmers. You know, farming is integral. Farming is integral. The Vikings predominantly were farmers, and because of that, they were innovative. They created tools, they created ways of knowing the land, and because of that, for a very long time, were successful. The land, the food is so important, and as far as that's concerned, that is another very dark road that we need to stop, and it needs to be global uproar about that. So mark my words, tell everybody you know about that. And I don't usually push myself on people like that or the statements that I make, but that is something that I've been very aware of that man doing for a long time. And those things, allegedly, don't touch it. Don't touch it with a barge pole. And do everything you can in your local area to raise a stink about this land ownership that he has, this monopoly over the farmlands. There's a deliberate reason for that, and that reason will be felt much later down the line unless we make plans to stop it. So no, yeah, not good. So this Emperor in reverse. This is the dark shadow that we're dealing with right now. And not the helpful shadows of self, but the dark shadow that is looming over this realm right now. This is where, instead of the authoritative, kind, foundational, ruling energy, you see the truth behind the masks of those puppets and the beings behind them that are making itself apparent today. So we have the total converse, but enlightenment will be seen. That world will be flipped upside down with that Sun card against that Emperor card. This is where universal energies are shining the light and showing the biggest, darkest shadows. As far as individual lives, this is where we need to take heed in people who are very manipulative within our own lives, very, hey Theodore, very controlling and do it in a very insidious way. People who are in the need for control, they've got no control over themselves, so they seek to control whoever and whatever else they can. It's okay, baby. So they seek to control whatever and whoever they can. And so as far as, 1 second, baby, I'm nearly done. As far as your individual life, this needs to be derooted, uprooted, and plucked out. No more, doesn't serve anybody. As well as the countermeasures of good community acts at the start of the reading, there will be again more pushes from the Biden administration today regarding some more ridiculous acts. Please don't be fooled to think that this is him taking up the mantle opposite to the previous mantle. Then and now, but like that narcissistic roller coaster energy that they have everybody on is the same thing. It's so please, to make an impactful statement, think strategically. They want you to be shouting out about a side or a person being the savior or not the savior. They want you to still look at it upon it in that kind of way. It's all a big trick. It's all a big trick. The strategy in this with the Knight of Pentacles is to just call out the government full stop. The same way that I call out this spirit just gone behind me there. The same way I call out this government in the UK full stop, as well as many of the others. Yeah, the side thing just needs to be done. So just like the Judgment card, the seas are parted, but they're not really. They're all the same part. It's all the same sea. It's all the same ocean. The balance point is being in the middle. The safe place is being in the middle. Where you're being called is to be in the middle. Peace and balance. So, that was a heavy reading. That was a heavy hitter, Theodorable. So there is the reading. I hope that helps. Plenty of information in it. Please leave a comment as if anything that you see is going down, especially the Sun with those community things. It's super awesome to be diligent and discerning over what we need to be, the shadows that are being cast. But also it's super important, if not more so important, to be shouting from the rooftops the good acts that we see in our local area going on, even if it's blowing your own trumpet with that Judgment card of something good, or that you feel good about something good that you did today for somebody else, and indeed most importantly for yourself, because this is where we really uplift each other. Feel free to use my comment section to shout out about things like that. I think it's fabulous to open up that dialogue, and for people all around the world, to be able to see other people's dialogue. So if my platform can be of service to you guys in doing that, feel free. It doesn't have to even regard my video. It can just be regarding something good that you see going down in your area, and it really does give us all a boost, you know, collectively. It helps us see the very things that they are deliberately hiding, you know, from each other. You know, the very reason that all of this is going down and we've been distancing, you know, and whatnot, is so that we can't be in dialogue quite so openly. And so please trust that you're welcome to put comments like that down. I appreciate it very, very much, and I'd help spread the word as to anything that you say regarding that kind of thing, because it is super important that we keep ourselves uplifted, up vibed, high frequency, and all of that jazz right now more than ever. If you'd like a personal reading with me or any spiritual coaching, energy work sessions, you can get in touch with me at truedivinemedia@gmail.com, or you can send me a private Facebook message at truedivine44. I love you all, appreciate you all. Much love, balance, and wholeness. Mwah.